Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles, and we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
Really excited, man. This is so for anybody who's watching it right now, I'm really excited to have Mike Lewis with us from Hygiene22. Mike, obviously you're a veteran, you're a father, you're a husband, and now you're an entrepreneur. Let's add that to the repertoire now.
Yeah.
So what gave you and your partner the want to be like, I want to start Hygiene22? Like, what made you say, I want to start my own business and get into this?
I feel like working the 40 hours, working the 9 to 5, the typical hustle and bustle, takes you away from your family and things you want to do.
Like you want to, so essentially, because I remember you telling me is you want to start a business.
Yeah.
Right. And what, by the way, which I love about you is obviously this is not your norm. Being in front of a camera, doing all this shit. Like, obviously in your partnership that you have, he's like, fuck this, I'm passing this to Mike.
Yeah. He's like, I want to do the whole operation side. You can be the face of it. You could deal with all that stuff. I just want to do the back end stuff. So I was like, all right.
I love it. So you're the face. But, it takes a lot of courage to not only start a business, right? But it also takes courage to be doing this.
Yeah.
Right. In front of the camera, having these, types of conversations and stuff. So, obviously based on what you told me that like you had this like moment, and I'll let you kind of elaborate more, but this moment where your wife's like grandfather or somebody like would always take you guys out, and you're like, yo, like, and take care of everybody.
Yeah. So my wife's grandfather, they have a place up in Vermont, and the family goes up there every year for his birthday. So I always look forward to going up with them, and we would sit. I always sit down, talk to the grandfather at the table, and we would just talk about his business sometimes and stuff, and he would just tell me all this stuff, and we just got into a deep conversation one day, and he was just kind of like, hey, you're never going to get to this level working for someone else. Right. And that was like really something that stuck with me. And it was like a light bulb went off, and I'm like, wow, you're right. And being around him, you truthfully, you see a little different side of money than you normally would see.
Right.
So that really opened my eyes. So it was like shortly after that trip when me and Andrew would be like, we got to figure this out. Like, we got to figure something out. And fast forward a couple months later, I ran out of shampoo. And I kept going to Walmart, like I was saying in the video, and kept going. I kept forgetting to get it. And I just called him one day. I was like, yo, what do you think about starting a like men's grooming hygiene product business? And he's like, I like it. And he was like, how are we going to make shampoo? How are we going to do this? And so he's pretty hands-on. So he tried to figure it out at home. And then we eventually did research and got in touch with we talked to a couple manufacturers, and then got in touch with the right manufacturer, and then started working from there. Yeah,
that's really cool, man. And so boom, now Hygiene22 is the thing, right? So what does 22 stand for? So
Hygiene22, this is like a little bit of touchy subject and stuff like that. They say like 22 veterans kill themselves every day, and whether that's 1 or 22, that's just we want to bring awareness to that and try to bring awareness to veterans and stuff, and that's kind of the whole background of Hygiene22.
Right. I got the children out there. It's deep.
Yeah, so we just kind of want to we just want to bring awareness to mental health and to veterans and to people who gave their life or sacrificed for this country, served for this country, and so forth.
For our freedom and liberties, man. I mean, and thank you for your service, bro.
Thank you.
Seriously, dude.
Thank you.
And that's why I love this, because at the end of the day, like, what I love most about it is obviously, listen, like, at the end of the day, you had this great conversation, with, your grandfather-in-law, I guess. And, you're having this convo, and you're like, I want to be able to live this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want to do this too for my family.
Exactly.
And then, boom, next thing you know, you're constantly hitting the stores and thinking about it. And you know what, dude? Honestly, it's great, because when I think about it, like, my wife does most of the shopping, but when it comes to certain things, like, she'll get certain products, like for hair shit, like, I don't want to like use this one thing. But when you think about it, even when we were kids, like whatever shampoo was in the freaking shower is whatever I used. And I was like, Mom, Dad, get me this, like girls would do. Yeah. But it's like, it's something that most people don't really think about. But if I could get a shampoo that, obviously you guys have great ingredients in it, right, that are natural ingredients and stuff. But if I can get a shampoo that could also spread awareness, right, on these veterans and mental health, as well as obviously, because I know you guys also, give back and stuff and do great things. It's like, why would I not do that, right? It's a win-win. Because at the end of the day, when you go into your shower and you use your shampoo, when you're using all the major ones right now, You're just using them because they're on shelves and because you just know who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, most people, right?
Yeah.
But like in this case, if I could say, damn, I'm in the shower and every time I see that sick beard on that guy, the Hygiene22 dude,
Yeah.
right? It's like, I know that I'm making impact. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this, man. So I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I think when we were growing up as kids, and no one really looked at the labels or nothing back then, whether you're having food or you're having putting stuff on your body and stuff.
Dunkaroos, I'm just eating it.
Yeah, Dunkaroos, Pop-Tarts, these are the worst stuff
100%.
that you're eating.
Chef
We didn't know that.
Come on, imagine it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But now it's funny because now we live in a very woke culture world
Yes.
now where people are like, you can't have that Chef Boyardee. The amount of salt in there is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Whatever preservatives and crazy shit's in there.
Yeah.
But, that's why I think this is so great. Now, so talk to us about your journey in the military, man. What made you get in there and like what branch were you in and stuff?
I just actually, what's funny story is when I was younger, I never wanted to join the military. I always
Really?
The recruiters would come to the high school and I'd be
Right,
like,
I remember that.
There's no way I'm joining the military. No way
Right.
I'm joining them. And then I was going to school and I met with a buddy at OCC on my break time, and he was like, "Oh, my buddy just joined the Air Force. He's got a brand new car. He's traveling the world." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds pretty good. You know,
I like that.
That interests me." Mm-hmm. So I actually went to go try and join the Air Force originally, and the recruiter was never there. So the Marine recruiter was there one day, and I was like, "Hey, can I talk to you? He said, come in my office."
Yeah.
And he would just basically sold me the whole Marine Corps. And then when I told people and I seen the reaction first when I said, "Hey, I'm going to be." Now, I'm not knocking anyone in the Air Force, but when I said, "Hey, I'm going to be in Marine versus Air Force," it was a totally different reaction. I really grabbed hold of it.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, I just said I'm going to sign for the Marine Corps. I knew nothing about it. Had no family members. Nobody could remotely tell me anything about it.
Yeah.
My parents were a little upset at first, but I was just like,
oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God. My dad was eating it was like, yeah.
They were scared.
Yeah, they were nervous for me.
Yeah,
And I was like, I just loved the feeling that I got from people. So like,
when you told
going to go do this,
Yeah.
So I just signed up and left, and then I lived in Japan for a few years and traveled around. I was in Thailand for a little bit.
Wow.
And then
how was that?
It was crazy because actually the cool part was I was only 20, so the drinking age over there was 20. It wasn't even 21. So by the time my 21st birthday came around, I was already drinking for a year legally.
Right.
So it was pretty cool.
But was it a vibe out in Japan? Like, did you dude?
So I lived on like an island called Okinawa, and it was like an island life basically. You're on an island every day.
So like very beachy vibe, or?
Yeah, it was very beachy. You could see the ocean from my view
Okay.
every day. The beach was right outside of like our base and everything like that. It was definitely a culture shock at a young age.
The culture's got to be so different. You're 20 years old.
20 years old, is on the other side of the world. I'm trying to call my mom and dad. It's nighttime and so forth. And stuff like that. And
What did you like better though, Thailand or Japan?
Thailand was pretty crazy. Thailand was a pretty cool spot.
Did you party there more?
Yeah, we partied there. Yeah, definitely partied in Thailand.
Yeah.
Thailand was a fun time.
So essentially you were stationed at these places.
I was stationed in Japan, Okinawa, and then we went to Thailand twice.
So on a trip.
We went they had a flood one time, so they put the team together, and we had to go help out. And then there was another time when we were training with the Thai Marines, so they again did like a roster, sent us over there to train with them. And then I was stationed in 29 Palms, California after that. Wow. And that's when I ran into Andrew. He was stationed in North Carolina originally, and I went to 29 Palms probably a month or two before he got there, and then he got there. And then we were both NCOs, corporals together, and doing all the training exercises and stuff together, and then we start really building a bond. I guess we didn't really know how special that bond was when we were in, because we were just two good friends or whatever. And when we got out, we just kept in touch. He drove me to the airport the day I got out, actually. He drove me to LAX.
Wow.
And ever since then, we just kept in touch, and we just talked all these years over. Never lost touch, nothing.
Did you think that you would never end up like back in Jersey?
You're
traveling the world here. Like you got to be like, I'm not going back to fucking Brick.
Yeah. So the funny story was when we were living in Cali and I was getting out, Andrew, I called him and I moved some stuff. I put all my stuff in a storage unit in California, in Huntington Beach, actually, with no plans to come back to Jersey.
Right.
My plan was to come back to Jersey when I first got out. I was waiting to try and enroll in the school out there.
Yeah.
And then I came back to Jersey, and the school was just like messing around. It was taking forever to get going. And then I just ended up not going back to California. And I actually had the time of my life in California. I loved California.
Cali's a vibe, right?
It is a vibe, 100%. Yeah. The weather, everything. San Diego is beautiful.
What blows my mind though, have you been to San Francisco?
I'd never been northern Cali.
All right. Yeah. What's crazy? Well, the first time I ever went to Cali, I first went to San Fran because we have friends that live there, and so we went out to San Fran, and like, when I'm up like in the hills, like not by the ocean. Like it's like a cool, like nice day out where I could like wear like maybe like a long sleeve shirt, but not a jacket.
Yeah,
it'd be fine. Then you go down by like the beach and like you need a jacket.
Yeah,
and then you go a little bit more north, like literally half an hour, 45 minutes. We went to a winery, and dude, I was sweating.
Yeah,
like it's so crazy, like how their whole like weather systems like are over there.
Yeah,
I was shook, dude. I was like, I went down because like again, we started up top, went down by because we went to go see Alcatraz.
Oh, wow.
So we went down by the water, dude. I had to go to a store and buy a jacket. That's how cold I was. And then, like I said, later in the day, I have a jacket on now. Get to the winery, I'm sweating, and I'm sweating with the long sleeve shirt on now too.
Yeah.
Took jacket. So anyway, point being, it's Cali. There's just so much going on. And then you can you can go skiing and snowboarding if you go farther enough.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, sometimes there's snowboarding in shorts out there.
Right, that's crazy. What I'm saying. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love the West Coast, honestly.
So now, is your wife from Jersey?
No, my wife's from Long Island.
So East Coast, though.
Yeah, East Coast.
So how the hell did you guys? So I'm gonna tie this all back into business.
Yeah.
But how the heck? So okay, you're on tour. You know, you get back to Jersey, I guess, from Cali.
Get back into Jersey.
Yeah. So how the heck did you meet her? What was that like?
I kind of just get back to Jersey, did my own thing, try and get settled. I feel like I was behind everybody. Everyone, like, I came back home. There's so many people I really haven't talked to. My life's been so different for 4 years.
Right.
And at the time I came home, I'm living on my mom's couch. Literally, I'm sleeping on my mom's couch.
Yeah.
Right? And now I'm not PTing. I'm not doing any more Marine Corps stuff. So now I'm starting to gain a little weight. I'm getting a little heavy. I'm sitting at home on my mom's couch. And it's just me and my dog. I got my 2 dogs at the time.
So same dogs?
No, they passed away, unfortunately. But it was my
okay.
husky, my shepherd, and then
Wait, time out. I gotta know something though.
Yeah.
So while you're gaining weight, you're on the couch. Because they used to call him Robbie Cheese Doodles. By the way. He's losing weight though. Cheese Doodles. He's looking good. But so, what's your go-to snack while you're on the couch? You're gaining weight. You're just being a Rob Arthur. What do you do?
My absolute worst embarrassed moment in my life was probably eating a whole. I know they changed the name to it, but Fat Boy Pizza from Pizza Express by myself.
Fucking dude.
That was I ate the whole large pie by myself. Like I was like, that.
So you had a pie and a fat?
No, it was the whole pie. It was the
whole.
I know it was the sub, but they made a pizza too.
And
I had the pizza version of it.
Oh,
I was like, oh
damn.
my god, yeah. I would have a heart attack.
First of all, I haven't had the pizza one, but the sandwich itself.
Yeah.
I remember when I first moved down here.
Yeah.
They used to give you a T-shirt if you could finish the sandwich.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then I forget, but now the ones they make now versus back then, they're so much thinner. They're not the same size, dude. I could barely finish half back then. Never mind the full thing. But anyway, so you slapped one of those down.
Yeah, the whole thing. It was the most embarrassing time of my life. Yeah.
You're like, bam.
Yeah.
Do you remember at Bubba Coos too? There was that one thing, that whole. I don't know if you went to Bubba Coos or not.
Yep. I love Bubba Coos.
I forget how they called that thing.
No.
It was a huge plate. If you finished it, you got a picture on the wall.
Oh yeah, you did. Yep. I do remember that.
It's called like a chalupa or something. I forget, whatever.
Yeah, I do remember what you're talking about now.
Anyway, continue. So I just wanted to know what your go-to snack was.
Yeah, it was definitely that pizza.
You're like a little fat boy.
Yeah.
All right.
So long story short, then I got back into shape. I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit heavy. I need to get myself back in shape. Got myself back in shape, and then I kind of had to figure it out. Almost like entrepreneurship. I really didn't have I had no direction, no nothing. I just got home after being in different spots for the past 4 years.
So you were 24 then?
I was 24 years old. Yep, 23. Just turned 24 years old.
Yeah.
And someone's like, hey, talked about construction industry and stuff like that, and told me a few trades and stuff. And I was like, looked into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, yeah. I was like, I'll just go do this. And I was so focused on just getting a job and a career versus like maybe just taking my time and starting a business or doing something, opening my eyes into horizons. Everyone tells you in high school, no one ever tells you to start your own business. Everyone's like, you got to go to university.
You got to go to college, get a job.
Yeah, and you see all the smart kids going to all these great schools, and I was a C student. I was nothing special, you know. And so I just had to figure it out. And then someone told me about the construction industry, and then I figured out what trade I wanted to do. I went and got the licenses and everything for that, and then I got into the union shortly thereafter, like within a couple 6 months later or so. And then I kind of had my own apartment at the time, and I was just in the union. I was doing fine. I was just making money, and I was just living, and I had no worries, no nothing. And, and then I fast forward years later, and then I met my wife. We actually met online, met on Hinge one time, and I thought she lived in Jersey, and I read it wrong, and I didn't realize it was Long Island. And I was like,
you were getting ready for a date. You're like, I gotta go all the way up there.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta go all the way up there. So I was like, all right, we were gonna meet halfway. I was like, you know what? I'll just come to you.
Right.
And I just went.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. So I went to her, and then we hung out, and we went out to dinner on Friday night, and then that weekend on, we never spent the weekend without each other after that again.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Now you got twins. So anybody watching this, what's absolutely bananas, I don't know if you actually knew this, you probably did, but literally, so if you're watching this, so I went to obviously high school with you. I met you through Pete back in the day.
Yeah,
so literally, I think like 2006, 2007, something crazy like that.
Yeah, yep.
Anyway, fast forward, you moved into my neighborhood in Brick.
Yep.
And I saw you walking your dogs, and I was like, oh my God, it's fucking Mike Lewis. So we caught up for a second. And then like months into it, right, you came up to me, you're like, yo, I got this, I'm thinking about starting a business, whatever. And we started catching up and talking and stuff. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, I'm here, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have another conversation when you're walking your dogs past my house. So like, yo, I got twins on the way.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, bro, that's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane, right? Because obviously you have your son.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, there must be something in the water over by us over there. Fast forward, I find out, I guess, what is it, a couple months later, that like we're pregnant and we have twins on the way. And he had a boy and a girl, and I had a boy and a girl.
And we already both have one boy already named after us.
Right. So you had a Mike, I had a John, right? And then we have boom, boy, girl, boy, girl. Like, you can't write this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
No, it is crazy. Like, same neighborhood, same everything.
Same neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So wild. But anyway, so going back into the business aspect of it, like, so talk to us, like, what are your and Andrew's goals for Hygiene22? Like, like, as an example, give us like what do you want like the future to look like for Hygiene22?
In a perfect world, I feel like if no one's laughing at you, you're not dreaming big enough.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely say I would like to resemble like the Black Rifle of coffee of the hygiene side.
Man. Let's get this in the UFC too.
Yeah, our goal is I would love to sponsor many athletes, sponsor all of them, give them benefiting products, and then benefit others at the same time, raise awareness for everything that we're standing behind.
I love it. The mission you have, dude, is so important. Like, that's the one thing that I love so much, bro. Like, I hate when I see things, bro. Like, I've donated pretty heavily over the years to veteran foundations and things like that, only because like when you think about it, like the craziest thing, like I saw this, I think it was Ronald Reagan that said this. He's like, you can, like, for instance, you went to Japan, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Japan, you can go to Italy, you can go to Portugal, you can go to any of these different countries in the world, right?
Yeah.
And you can go live there, right? But you will never be Japanese.
Yeah.
Right? You can never be an Italian, right?
No.
You wherever you go, you'll like kind of jump into the culture, right? But you're never gonna be a Frenchman or whatever, So, but everywhere in the world can leave where they're from and be an American because of people like you, right?
Yeah.
Because of liberties. So that's what I love about, like, when you think about taking care of our veterans and like their mental health and their stuff, it's like we have all of these liberties because of the men and women from the start of this country that put their lives when things were scrappy and crazy and everyone was going to war and dying and shit. It's like from that time to even now, people are putting their time, their lives and everything on the line so that we can have the freedoms and liberties that we have. So, at the end of the day, it's like, you guys, like the people who take care of us, I believe it's our job to take care of them when they're in a bad space mentally, right? Yeah,
and that's exactly what we're trying to do is like this way. If someone buys our products, we can at least give them a benefiting product, a clean product, and then your money at least will go towards, a veteran organization, and everything, and support these guys that you're just talking about, and everything like that. I think it's hard because you want to give back to them because a lot of them paid the ultimate sacrifice, and we'll never be able to repay them. So
and when you think about it, like when you think about like we all have people in our lives, whether it's they have anxiety or depression and they were never in the service. They just have it because of their lives. Yeah. Now you put somebody who's been in Afghanistan or Iraq and has seen, their actual like friend, die or something. It's like when you look at that and the traumas that they have, not only they come back, from being in that life to civilian life, And, again, from the conversation I've had, and it's like, it's a different world, and they can't relate to other people.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you can't, like, somebody who, like, I joke around the business world, which you're going to start to get pretty soon.
Yeah.
Which is like, you're not going to be able to relate to most of your friends who are just employees anymore when they're like, oh, I'm complaining about 9 to 5 and this and that. Like, it's going to change once this thing is starting to blow up and you have your, own team and employees and, those things. Like, you're going to stop being able to relate, and people come back from active duty or just the things that they're doing every day to get back to normal civilian life. That's a big adjustment.
Yeah,
and so
is.
like,
Absolutely.
and not everybody knows, like, dude, like, I've suffered from, like, anxiety for majority of my life, anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
And so, like, but I was always terrified to go see a therapist or to go talk to somebody, because I was, again, I feel like growing up back when we did, it's like, you went to go see a shrink, what's wrong with you? Like, you crazy?
Yeah.
Like, something you're cuckoo?
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's how it was back then. A lot of guys too, a lot of women and men who are in the service too, like, you have pride. So you're like, I'm fine, I'll figure it out myself.
Yeah. 100%.
And sometimes it spirals, and so like, it's up to us to, like, do things like this. So, like, that's why it's so important. It's like, if you're going to wash your hair, fucking wash your hair with the company who's giving back.
Yeah.
And giving back to the men and women who legitimately have given you your liberties and freedom. So I just fucking love that.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah. I don't want to say anything bad about any big companies, because I was either successful or whatever. But I mean, they're just, I feel like at the end of the day, they just jam chemicals into products.
Yeah.
And
they want the money.
at least we're, giving back and,
Right.
try to do something good with it.
Right. Better products, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Yeah.
but and also better cause. So that's the thing at the end of the day. We have that blessing of that. So now I want to ask you a question. So has there been any, like, I'm going to ask you this. I'm putting you on the spot, but it's all right. Well, you'll get through this. So now that you get, obviously, if I asked you this a few years from now, I think, so you'll be able to fucking fire this off quickly, being a business owner for a few years. But I'm going to ask you it now, because it would be cool to go back to this in a few years and remember this interview.
Yeah.
Right? So as we have this documented. So, a lot of times we think about legacy, right? Which is like where your feet are planted here today in Point Pleasant, right? And, thinking forward. What is Mike going to do, right? What is he going to leave back for his kids and their kids and his wife? I want to reverse engineer that.
All right.
So it's a little bit of an exercise. Okay?
All right. Yeah.
So I want you to tell me if you were to essentially write your gravestone, right? The one thing that's going to supersede your kids, your wife, their kids, everybody, right? What is that? Again, of course, paraphrasing, give me exact. What would that say? If you were to write that, meaning, like, what's it going to say today? Because, again, you have to think about it, reverse engineer it. You already know what Mike is set out here to do, what his mission is, and obviously what impact he wants to leave on his kids and his wife and stuff. So if you were to summarize it, what would it say?
Just be a great husband, be a great father, and
eat more fat boys.
Eat more fat boys. I would just love to pass on. I would just love to build a great big business and just be able to pass it on to my kids. I always joke with my mom and them. A lot of my family's passed away. They were heavy Italians, like all Sicilian Italians. My mom's side was very heavy Italians, and they all passed away. It's just my mom left, and my brother and myself on my mom's side. So I always kind of joke around with her and say I'm trying to rebuild the family financially and physically. So nice. We have 3 kids. We would like to potentially have one more, maybe. Yeah. And
unless you have another set of twins.
Unless another set of twins, and then it'll be like, oh my God.
They'll be moving to a Rob.
So I would like to be able to build a business and rebuild the family, bring people back and build a great business for my.
Love it.
For the future of our family and leave my name on it. And
love it, man. Yeah, that's cool, and it's really cool, because the thing is like, if you go back to yourself in, like, freshman year, sophomore year of high school, could you ever see yourself being a business owner?
No, I wouldn't even.
And do you think people would be like, yeah, Mike, I can see Mike being a business owner, or do you think people are like, what the fuck, Mike?
Yeah, probably what the fuck, Mike. Long hair, 16 years old. Yeah, and
you're a big motocross guy too, right? Back
I love the
Because I remember you always had, like, in the hallways, I always see you look fucking motocross Mike.
Yeah,
like you always had the gear on. I forget what it's called, with the Fox thing on.
Oh yeah, probably the Fox with the.
I don't know what it's called. Yeah. But I asked you that because I remember when I first started the business, like a few years after it was already running and stuff, like people from high school would come up to me like, Figaro, like, you have your own business? Like, because I was always fucking around in class and joking around. I was a class clown. I just love have a good time. I didn't, like, crush it with my grades. I didn't go to college. Same. Like, I went to school, like, C's get degrees, baby. That was my mentality. So, but, like, going into it now, like, it's funny because, like, back then, people would be like, I can't believe fucking Vigaro has a business. Like, and they would literally be like, that's crazy, you have a business. It's nuts. And now, like, seeing people, they're like they can't even fathom like me not having a business.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy, you know? So it's, for you, like, you should think about that. And anybody watching this, like, so many people, like growing up in high school, it's a tough time. Like, you're vulnerable. There's so much going on, you know, whether it's trying to mac chicks or, you know, do whatever you're trying to do to get more friends and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a vulnerable time in most kids' lives. And it's like, most people judge you at that time.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mike's this, John's this, that, whatever. And it's so crazy to look back and think about all of those things that you felt in those moments, and then now be where you are here today with a beautiful family, you know, doing what you're doing and stuff. And it's like, that's the thing. That's like, that was one of the biggest things. I've always had a big chip on my shoulder, because like when I was going to Memorial, like in most of my Memorial, like vets, you know, I was in classified classes. You know, we talked about that, I think. Yeah. So I was in all classified classes, right? So like I had the 8 in the room, and like they were like helping and stuff. So like I saw everyone, oh, I'm going to, you know, Rutgers or Monmouth, or I'm going to George Washington University or Stockton and shit. And I'm like, I don't fucking know what I'm going to do. I have no fucking clue.
No clue.
You know? And it's like, fast forward, you know, that part of myself who was always like, damn, bro, like you're not going to, like, what are you going to become? Like how, but like, that's what also drove the shit out of me, was like, you know, I wanted to prove to myself that, like, you know, I didn't need to do X in high school, or need to go to this college, or need to do whatever, right? Like, as long as you, like, dude, going to the Marine, like, you know, like Marine Corps, it's like, to think about that, like, okay, I'm gonna go to a different country and I'm 20, and do those things. Like, it sounds crazy, especially at that time, right? But you did it, you got it done, right? And it's like, most people think about that same scenario, starting a business. Like, they're like, I don't know how the hell, you know, you have like almost 60 employees and like are doing the shit you're doing, and, you know, 60 families rely on me to make sure I do what I do, right? And like the company's doing what it needs to do, and like, you know, is growing and thriving and stuff. And it's like, you're in this position right now. It's so cool. It's like watching a movie for the first time, right? It's like, damn, you can't go unsee it. But the first time you watch it, it's like, you obviously watched Harry Potter, right? Like back in the day when it first came out, that movie was fucking magical back then, right? And it's like, you're in that phase of your business right now where it's like, everything's so new. Everyone's like, Mike started a business. Like, everyone's talking about, like, people you know, like, oh, Mike started a business, and you're figuring out your shit. But it's such a good time because it's built in with hardships too. And that's what I want everyone out there listening to realize, like, that the beautiful part about business, just the same thing about, you know, joining the service, is that it's not for everybody.
No.
And it's really hard.
100%.
And if you have the chops to just stay in your lane and not give up, you know, you're going to succeed, right? And that's the one thing my mentor told me. My mentor was a huge telecom billionaire back in the day. Like, literally, his business got bought out by AT&T.
Wow.
And as long as you never, ever, 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 and kept going ever.
Yeah.
And he's like, give up after like 25 hours. He goes, eventually, people are going to know your name more. Because every year you're in this business, somebody else is going to see Hygiene22, Mike, Andrew. Like, somebody's every year, no matter what, if you're out there doing what you're supposed to be doing. And just the hardest part is just showing up every day.
100%.
I'm out there every day. I'm just showing up. I'm doing my thing. I'm talking to these different stores and this person and that person, trying to get out there. Every day, eventually more people and more people and more people, more people. Eventually, thousands of people who know who you are, right? And that's when you can start selling and, you know, building a sustainable long-term business. And so, like, I love that, like, he gave me that advice because it sounded so easy and cliche. I'm like, oh, don't give up, okay? Like, you know, cool. But it's like, I didn't. And, you know, there are people who are way smarter than me. There are people who know way more than me, right? But at the end of the day, you know, in my business now, and from the beginning, nobody will ever outwork me in showing up. I'll show up, I'll go where I gotta go, I'll travel here, I'll go there. If business is calling, I'm answering. And that was always my thing, you know. And so for you guys and for anybody listening that's starting a business or early in a business, that's the key here, is like, you know, you have to like enjoy the ride that you're about to go on, right? Because you're gonna start to, as we start to get this into like, you know, bigger places and selling and different things and like more stores and stuff, and people are like, no, fuck you, who's Hygiene22? Like, the thing is, like, every no gets you closer to the bigger yes. And you have to stick with that mentality. So I'm excited for you to be in that zone, essentially, is what I'm saying to you. Because I remember being in that place and, like, not knowing and being so uncertainty. Like, well, like, how do I know it's going to happen, or how do I not know it's going to happen?
Yeah.
And it's like, but the one thing, like what my mentor told me is like, dude, if you just show up every day and you give up, you never give up, eventually you're going to get there.
That's why, yeah, I agree with 100%. I can relate with you with the chip on your shoulder and everything like that. You know, got a lot of people prove wrong, even going back to high school. You know, some of my teachers like, oh, I'm worried about you. You know, and but
it's like, you know, teach, I'm worried about you.
Yeah, I'm worried about you. I'm sure some people behind my back, like if I say, oh, I'm starting a shampoo company, they probably like laugh a little bit, and it probably happens, you know. But like you said, I just keep my head down. I keep doing what we need to do, and just little by little.
Paying your bills?
No, 100% no. But when I put a big billboard on I-95 and they drive to work every day and they pass my billboard, I'm gonna be the last one laughing.
Exactly,
you know?
right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal.
I love it, man. All right, so, dude, I believe time is the one asset we don't get back, man. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I really greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Where can people find you? This is where you plug yourself.
Hygiene22.com.
Yep.
You can spell it out or put a 22. Either way, it'll go right to our website.
Yep.
And we're on Facebook, Hygiene22, and Instagram, Hygiene22.
Yep, all platforms. And guys, check it out. The one thing I just want to say, dude, I'm grateful to be a part of this mission with you. But I'm also super excited for you and Andrew just on this mission. You know, obviously it's not just about the shampoo. Of course, you guys want to do something that's like awesome in the product space for hair care and stuff. And hygiene, and you know, it goes way beyond body wash and shampoo and conditioner. Like obviously, like what you guys are doing here, I think is so impactful, right? And so I'm really excited to, you know, continue to see you guys grow as professionals too, but also just the product can get into more hands and honestly, you know, get on more heads, dude, and more bodies. So I'm excited. And guys, go check it out, hygiene22.com, and obviously check them out on IG, all major social platforms. And we got some professional athletes that are gonna be rocking it pretty soon too.
Yeah, we do.
Super stoked about that. Stay tuned. I'm sure you're gonna see it really soon on an athlete or somebody that is a star near you. So thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.